March 6, 2025. A bombshell dropped in Washington today. The Trump administration announced plans to slash the Department of Veterans Affairs workforce. This move could leave 80,000 VA employees jobless. The target? Returning the agency to its 2019 staffing level. This translates to a staggering reduction of over 80,000 personnel. Critics are calling it a devastating blow to veterans nationwide. The administration, however, is painting a different picture. They argue these cuts are not about sacrificing veterans' care. Instead, they claim the goal is to eliminate bureaucratic bloat. By streamlining operations, they believe the VA can deliver services more efficiently. This move comes as no surprise to those familiar with Trump's governing style. Throughout his presidency, he has consistently sought to reduce the size and scope of the federal government. The VA, responsible for healthcare, benefits, and other services for millions of veterans, is now at the heart of this controversy. The proposed cuts represent a significant downsizing of the agency. The impact of these job losses on veterans' access to vital services remains a pressing concern. Questions are swirling around the true motivations behind this drastic move. Is this a genuine attempt at reform, or a politically motivated attack on a vulnerable population? Only time will tell what the true cost of these cuts will be. But one thing is certain, the stakes are incredibly high for America's veterans. The Trump administration insists the proposed cuts are not about gutting the VA, but about making it better. They argue that a bloated bureaucracy is hindering the agency's ability to serve veterans effectively. By eliminating unnecessary positions and streamlining processes, they believe the VA can become more agile and responsive to veterans' needs. Their plan revolves around a central idea: efficiency through downsizing. By reducing the workforce, they aim to cut costs and redirect resources to frontline services. This approach, they claim, will ultimately benefit veterans by reducing wait times and improving the overall quality of care. However, critics argue that this focus on efficiency is short-sighted and ignores the complex realities of the VA's operations. They point out that the VA is already grappling with a significant backlog of disability claims, and that staffing shortages are a chronic problem in many areas. Cutting tens of thousands of jobs, they warn, will only exacerbate these problems and leave veterans stranded without the support they need. Furthermore, they question whether the proposed cuts will actually lead to greater efficiency. The VA has undergone numerous reorganizations and streamlining efforts in recent years, with mixed results. Critics argue that simply reducing the workforce without addressing underlying systemic issues is unlikely to produce the desired outcomes. The proposed VA cuts have ignited a firestorm of controversy on Capitol Hill. Democrats are united in their opposition, accusing the Trump administration of betraying veterans and prioritizing corporate interests over the needs of those who served their country. They argue that these cuts are nothing short of an attack on the social safety net and will have devastating consequences for millions of veterans who rely on the VA for healthcare, disability benefits, and other essential services. Republicans, on the other hand, are divided. While some have expressed support for the administration's efforts to streamline government operations, others have voiced concerns about the potential impact on veterans' care. They argue that any cuts to the VA must be made carefully and strategically to avoid harming those who have sacrificed so much for their country. Caught in the crossfire of this political battle are millions of veterans who are left wondering what the future holds. Many are anxious about the potential impact on their access to healthcare, benefits, and other services. The uncertainty and fear are palpable as they wait to see how this political drama unfolds. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the recent passage of the PACT Act, which significantly expanded healthcare benefits for veterans exposed to toxic substances during their service. Democrats argue that the proposed cuts directly contradict the spirit of the PACT Act and will make it impossible for the VA to meet the increased demand for services. The clash between these two opposing forces has created a sense of uncertainty and apprehension within the veteran community. The proposed VA cuts stand in stark contrast to the policies of the previous administration. Under President Biden, the VA saw a significant increase in funding and staffing levels, particularly following the passage of the PACT Act. Biden, who often spoke of his commitment to honoring the nation's sacred obligation to its veterans, made strengthening the VA a cornerstone of his domestic agenda. His administration prioritized expanding access to healthcare, addressing the issue of veteran suicide, and improving the overall quality of care provided by the VA. The proposed cuts, therefore, represent a sharp reversal of this approach and signal a fundamental shift in priorities. The contrast between Biden's vision for the VA and Trump's current proposal highlights the deep partisan divide that exists on this issue. It also underscores the political stakes involved, as both parties see veterans as a crucial voting bloc. The debate over the future of the VA is far from over. As the Trump administration moves forward with its plans, it is certain to face fierce opposition from Democrats and veterans advocacy groups. The outcome of this battle will have profound implications for the lives of millions of veterans, and will likely shape the debate over veterans' care for years to come.